Becoming an expert. That is the title of this passage. So we have the first set of questions 1 to 5. These are gap filling questions, and then questions 6 to 10, true false not given questions. And then we have 11 to 13, summary completion question. Alright, so let's start with the first one. 1 to 5. Number 1, novice. So I'm saying, okay, novice. Okay, I can see expert at the bottom. Alright. Number 1, novice needs to study dash under the guidance of a dash. Alright, so looking at the passage, expertise is commitment. Let me look for novice here. There's nothing like novice in paragraph 1. Paragraph B, I can see novice there. An individual enters a field of study as a novice. Okay? The novice needs to learn the guiding principle and rules of a given task in order to perform that task. Concurrently, the novice needs to be exposed to specific cases or instances that test the boundaries of such principles. Generally, a novice will find a mentor under the guidance of a mentor. Okay, a novice will find a mentor. The passage says a novice will find a mentor to guide her through the process of acquiring new knowledge. Okay, so number 2 is going to be mentor. That means I should have seen my answer to number 1. Let me go back. Needs to study dash under the guidance of a mentor. How many words? No more than 3 words. I think this is going to be principles and rules. Needs to study principles and rules. The passage says the novice needs to learn the guiding principles and rules of a given task. Principles and rules. Principles and rules. Principles and rules of a given task. So the summary, the flowchart says novice needs to study principles and rules under the guidance of a mentor. 3. This 3 is probably maybe the mentor or something. Let me check the passage. The novice chess player seeks a mentor who teaches her the object of the game, the number of spaces, the name of the pieces. Okay. In time and with much practice, the novice begins to recognize patterns of behavior within cases and thus becomes a journeyman. That's the next phase. Journeyman. I think journeyman should be in gap number 4 because I can see novice, then we have journeyman, then we have experts. Journeyman. So it becomes a journeyman. With more practice and exposure to increasingly complex cases, the journeyman finds patterns not only within cases but also between cases. More importantly, the journeyman learns these patterns, starts to identify patterns for cases. That's it. From what I just read now, look at it. Finds patterns not only within cases but also between cases. So number 4 is going to be patterns. 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 For cases within or between study. More dash ways of doing things. More complex ways. Look at it there. Learn more complex strategies. So this number 5 should be complex. More complex ways of doing things creates new knowledge. Okay. Now let's then the last part is the expert. When the journeyman from the passage, when the journeyman starts to make and test hypotheses about the future behavior based on past experiences, she begins the next transition. Once she creatively generates knowledge, Hold on. Number 5 says, study more dash ways of doing things, creating new knowledge. Study more creative ways. Creative is not in the passage. But this thing says, once she creatively generates knowledge, rather than simply matching superficial patterns, she becomes an expert. Study more. I think I'll just leave it as complex. I don't want to waste too much time. Number 6. Novice and expert use the same system of knowledge to comprehend and classify objects. The same system of knowledge. Let me see. The next paragraph. The chess example is a rather short description of an apprenticeship model. Apprenticeship may seem like a restrictive 18th century mode of education, but it's still a standard method of training for many complex tasks. Academic doctoral programs are based on an apprenticeship model. Okay, novice and expert use the same system of knowledge. I can see experts here. Experts are generating knowledge. I can't say anything like novice and experts. Novice and experts. I'm looking for a sentence that uses those two words. Psychologists and cognitive scientists agree that the time it takes to become an expert depends on the complexity of the task. Paragraph G. An expert perceives meaningful patterns in a domain better than non-experts. Where a novice perceives random or disconnected data points, an expert connects regular patterns within and between cases. This ability to identify patterns is not an innate perceptual skill, rather it reflects the organization of knowledge after exposure to and experience with thousands of cases. Experts have deeper understanding of their domains than novices do and utilize higher principles to solve knowledge. A novice, for example, might group objects together by color or size, whereas an expert will group the same object according to their function or utility. Experts comprehend the meaning of data and weigh variables with different criteria within their domains better than novices. This number 6, I feel is going to be true. Same system of knowledge to comprehend and classify objects. I think I'll go for true. I think based on what I've read, so many points, many sentences, I think it should be true. I think it should be true. Number 7, the focus of novices training is necessarily on long-term memory. Okay, I can see long-term memory here. Experts have better domain-specific short-term and long-term memory than novices do. Moreover, experts perform tasks in their domain faster than novices and commit fewer errors while problem solving. Interestingly, experts go about solving problems differently than novices. Experts spend more time thinking about the problem to fully understand it at the beginning of a task than do novices who immediately seek to find solution. The focus of novice training is necessarily on long-term memory. I think I'll pick not given for this one. Number 7, when working out the problems, novices want to solve them straight away. Yes, this one is true. This one is true. This one, look at it here. Number 7 is supported by this sentence here. Let me highlight this sentence. Can you see this sentence here? That places the word. Novice immediately seek to find solution. That's number 8 state. That's supporting number 8, statement number 8. Experts will take some time to think about it, to fully understand it. Okay? Then number 9, when handling problems, experts are always more efficient than novices in their field. More efficient. More efficient. Experts use their knowledge of previous cases as context. Where is the issue of more efficient? Experts check their solution more often than novices and recognize when they are missing information necessary. Experts are aware of the limits of their domain knowledge. This issue of more efficient, I can't see it yet. More efficient. I don't know. Let me just go for not giving. I've not seen anything on. Let me check number 10. Experts tend to review more than novices on cases when flaws or limits on understanding took place. Flaws. I saw flaws somewhere. Look at it here. Flaw. Look at this sentence here. This place here. From the beginning. Better at self-monitoring than novices. Better at self-monitoring than novices. Experts are more aware of instances where they have committed errors or failed to understand a problem. Number 10 says experts tend to review more than novices on cases when flaw or limits on understanding took place. So this one I'm going to go for true. Experts tend to review more than novices. Now there's a problem. There's nothing like false in all my answers. This is very unusual. This number 9. When handling problems, experts are always more efficient than novices in their field. More efficient when handling problems. Always more efficient. Well, I can't say anything about more efficient. I'm trying to check all the statements again. Number 8, when working out the problem, yeah, this one, I'm sure of this one. Number 7, the focus of novice training is necessarily on long-term memory. This issue of long-term memory, let me check it again. Where did I see it? Long-term memory. Yeah, this place here. Experts have better domain-specific short-term and long-term memory than novices do. Moreover, experts perform tasks in their domain faster than novices. Oh, and commit fewer errors while problem solving. Where is that? This one here. This number 9. They commit fewer errors. That's true. More efficient than novices. That's commit fewer errors when handling problem. I think number 9 should be true. Now this number 8, when working on problems, novices want to solve them right away. Yeah, that one is true. Where did I see it earlier on? Experts, this place here. Experts spend more time thinking about a problem to fully understand it at the beginning of a task than novices do, who immediately seek to find solution. So that's sounding like number 8. When working out a problem, novices want to solve them right away. Yeah. So, what of number 6? Novice and expert use the same system of knowledge to compare and classify objects. I think I'll pick false for this one. There must be false somewhere. This thing is wasting my time. Let me just move on. Let me just leave those ones I've done. Now, 11 to 13. While experts outperform novices and machines in pattern recognition and problem solving, expert prediction of future behavior or events are seldom as accurate as simple actuarial tables. Why? Some have tried to explain that experts differ when using cognitive dash to forecasts. Okay? Cognitive dash. Whereas I can see actuarial table here. So, the performance of experts has been tested against actuarial tables to determine if they are better at making predictions than simple statistical models. Okay, the summary says some have tried to explain that experts differ when using cognitive dash. Is it cognitive model? No. Cognitive and statistical are not, I don't think they are synonymous. Let me read further. If I don't see any other thing, I will just pick model. 70 years later, with more than 200 experiments in different domains, it is clear that the answer is no. If supplied with equal amount of data about a particular case, an actuarial table is as good or better than an expert at making calls about the future. Okay? Even if an expert is given more specific case information than is available to the statistical model, the expert does not tend to outperform actuarial table. Theorists and researchers differ when trying to explain why experts are less accurate. Okay? Why? Some have argued that experts like humans are inconsistent when using mental models. Yeah. So mental models, cognitive models, mental and cognitive are kind of synonymous. So these things should be models. I think I mentioned models earlier on. Just that the answer for that one, I picked it from a different paragraph. I think the models here fit in. Mental models. Mental models to make predictions, or from the summary, it says to forecast. So researchers believe it is due to dash. A number of researchers point to human biases. Yes, that's our answer. Human, I guess it's two words. B-I-A-S-E-S. Human, how many words? No more than two words. So human biases. Biases. However, attempting endeavor of finding answers did not yet produce dash. Okay, so during the last 30 years, back to the passage, during the last 30 years, researchers have categorized, experimented, theorized about the cognitive aspect of forecasting. Despite such efforts, the literature shows little consensus regarding the causes or manifestations of human bias. Did not yet produce consensus. Show little consensus. Attempting endeavor of finding answers did not yet produce consensus. Number 13, I'm going to put consensus there. Consensus. So, let's submit and see what my score will be. My. Wow. 7. Alright, let's look at our corrections. Wow, can you imagine? Number 11 should be models. Mental models. Can you see spelling error? Spelling error. Mental models. I wrote model instead of models. Then, number 9 is false. Number 4 is patterns of behavior. Let me check that number 4. It says number 4 is patterns of behavior. Number 4 starts to identify patterns of behavior. For case, okay, patterns of behavior. I feel patterns should also be correct. I don't know. No more than 3 words, okay? I feel patterns should also be correct. This, there's a true false not given that I got wrong. That's number 9. When handling problems, experts are always more efficient than novices in their field. I don't understand how they arrived at this false for this number 9. So number 11, models. That's the only one I got wrong. The others are right. Okay. So thank you very much. I'm going to wrap it up on that note. I hope you get my explanation. The only one that looks somehow is this number 9 that says the answer is false. I don't really understand. I'm guessing that maybe there's a mistake or something. But all the same, I hope you have learned from the vocabulary and paraphrasing that I pointed out while trying to explain the answer. Thank you very much.